I'm Miriam, and I like makeup, so that's what we're gonna do. So, I'm a fangirl, like a massive fangirl, and I've had a few fan accounts, you could say. Okay, I only had 2, maybe 3, depends on how you count it. But I wanted to share some of my experiences and my stories while having a fan account. So, without further ado, let's go. So, I've had 2 different fan accounts in my life. 3 if you're counting different platforms. I don't really have a plan for what I'm going to do with my makeup, so we are going to wing it, but I'm kind of thinking red, and you'll see why. Or maybe you won't, but I can explain why. The first one I had was a One Direction fan account, and I had it in like 2014, 2015. And what I would do on this fan account is that I would edit videos to like music and post it. It's still up there though, it's just not active. I would also just like post pictures of the boys being like, look how cute, or oh, they did this and they did that, like just general fangirly stuff. Thing with me and the fan accounts I've had is that I've never been really private, like not really hide my face. I've always been pretty like, this is me, this is how I look like, these are my interests, this is my life, you know, having my little 10 minutes of fame. And I remember, I don't think I was the only one, but we would like, it was not uncommon to be like, ask me anything, or here's a few facts about me, or something like that. I don't remember quite how this came about, but we were talking about ages, or someone asked me my age or something. And back then I was like, oh, I'm 15. And most people would be like, okay, cool, she's 15. But there was this one girl who was like, you look like you're 12. And I was like, well, I'm not, I'm 15. And we were going back and forth. She was being like, no, you're 12, you look 12, you must be 12. And I'm like, no, I'm 15. And mind you, this was the first time someone had told me something like this. In later years, people have mistaken me for being younger all the time. But this was the first encounter I ever had with this, so I was very frustrated. Like, what is she talking about? I look 15. What? And the more I was pushing it, the less she believed me, because I was acting, in her words, childish, and I probably was. So what did end up happening, and I'm quite embarrassed to say it did, because I don't recommend anybody do this, but I ended up messaging her a picture of my passport, which yes, it's a huge safety regard. Luckily I don't use that passport anymore because I've outgrown it, like I'm too old. It expired. But don't do what I did. Like, if people don't believe you, just let it go. It's not that important, they're just strangers. And I had to learn that the hard way. I don't think she did anything with my passport. I haven't had any problems with it, but yeah, that was a very stupid thing of me. It worked though, because she was like, oh, you really are 15. And I'm like, yeah, duh. But still, a very, very stupid idea, and don't do it. Another like embarrassing mistake I did while having my One Direction fan account was that I was very impatient when I started. I was like, I want these followers and I want them now, or like I want a bunch of likes. I want it to be like growing overnight. And so I did what probably a lot of us did. I don't think I was the only one, but I bought some of my followers. And I think I bought some likes too, I don't remember. And I would also actively go in that like for like, follow for follow, share for share, you know, comment for comment. It was a whole shebang. If you know, you know. I think I discovered it when someone would comment this on my post, and that's how it all started. I also remember a girl in my middle school class going like, did you buy your followers? And I was like, no, I would never do that. But in reality, I did. And if she ever comes across this and see this, hi, you were right, sorry, but I didn't want to admit it. Doing your liner off camera is hard enough, so I was not gonna do it on camera. But let's continue with the stories. The second time around when I had a fan account was a Miraculous Ladybug one. And I actually had two, so it depends on how you count it if I had 2 or 3 fan accounts. I had 3 separate but for 2 different fandoms, you could say. For this, I did kind of like the same as I did with my 1D one. I would edit to music and post it. And this time I did like properly, so it was kind of nice. Like, I got to know a lot of nice people. There was a lot of good engagement. Like, people were liking my stuff. I was having fun. And I gradually started doing photo editing. Like, not like Photoshop, but it was more like drawing over screenshots. That's the best way I can explain it. I'd seen like other people do it and I wanted to try it for myself, so I did. Mind you, this time I was like 18, 19, so I was a bit older, and I think a lot of the problems were that the rest of the fandom was kind of younger than me, which, I mean, it's fair. I had fan accounts at their ages too, and you know, I still am liking a show that's, I'm not the targeted audience, but I kind of am. But there's a lot of different but like there's a lot of different age groups in the fandom, which is nice. When I started like doing my edits, there was this one girl who would edit over my edits, which was like really annoying because I'd spent like time doing it, and she was just like putting pupils over the eyes and changing the hair and be like, look what I made. And I was like, you didn't make that. I did. And like, I know I took a screenshot from someone else who worked really hard on it, but we all were doing that. So this is kind of like a little different in a way. It was annoying nonetheless. I remember it was for her OC or something, and she was like, my OC, whatever her name was, is doing this or doing that or showing off her new outfit. And I'm not saying it's wrong to have an OC. I've had plenty of OCs. OCs are really fun. If you're not sure what I'm talking about, OC is like original character. I don't know if putting red eyeshadow under my eyes was the right choice, but we're just gonna deal with it. There was also this other girl in the beginning of my editing stages who would constantly try to give me advice, which is like great. We love advice, but thing is, her stuff wasn't that much better than mine, and it's one of those moments where like, you want to give me advice? I mean, okay. And it's like, not to be rude, but you kind of come across as a know-it-all when you are like that. Like, it's another thing if someone asks you, if you ask once, like, oh, can I give you some advice, looks very good, but she was constantly pushing me, and when she was feeling like I improved, or I did improve, she was like, oh, you're doing so great, look how much better you're getting, like feeling I'm still better than you, but you're getting there. And it's just like, ugh. Especially when someone younger than you is like, do you want some advice? And it's like, no, go back to your iPad. I hope I did not come across as very mean there, but it was a long time ago. I was probably a bit immature as well. When I switched to my Instagram, I did just picture editing, like I was starting to do on my Twitter. And I gave myself the name It's Miribag, which, as you probably can tell, kind of stuck. But I was doing the same thing. I was like gradually building up, and I came pretty far, like, not to brag, but I did hit 10K at one point, so I was pretty proud of myself. But enough of that. So when you are like with fan accounts, you end up chatting to people, and it's most of the time it's really fun. Like, it's very fun chatting to people who share the same interests as you, and a lot of times it's just fun. Most of the times you'd be like, hey, how are you? What's your name? Okay, cool. Where are you from? Okay, cool. And then something else, and then you never hear from them again. That's mainly how it goes. But sometimes you're lucky and you end up like having a very good connection with somebody, and you guys just keep talking, which has happened to me. And I do still talk to one of them, and I'm very happy about that. But this was a girl I talked to a few times, like not every day, but from time to time we would chat and it would be nice. I don't know how we came to this like idea, but she was like, we should draw each other. And mind you, this was one of the first times, like this was in the beginning of my digital art journey. So I was like, I don't know, I'm not that good. Like, I don't think you're gonna be happy about it. And she kept pushing me like, yeah, come on, it'll be fun. And I was like, no, I don't think it will. And she kept pushing and I was like, you know what, fine, okay, we'll do it. And she drew me like kind of realistically, and I've never been into realism, so I made her kind of cartoon-like more. And like, she didn't do a bad job. I was like, okay, that's me. Okay, I see it, but it was probably the reference. But I was being like, as you should when someone does that. I'm like, oh, it's so great. Like, you did such a good job. Wow, I really like it. And I sent her mine, and I kid you not, she was like, really? That's what you did? Like, she was being so rude about it. She was like, I expected more from you. And I was like, I told you I'm not very good at this, and you still kept pushing. I mean, I think that's her own fault for not listening. She probably thought it would be like a masterpiece. And I swear, to this day, I'd probably not give her what she expected. Like, don't get me wrong, I'd probably do a better job than what I did back then because my art has improved, as it hopefully should when you've been doing it for years. But I'm still not that into realism, and that's probably what she was expecting. Also, like, another thing, I don't know if it's still like this in the Miraculous fandom, but a lot of the voice actors were pretty easy to get a hold on, especially the one playing Chloe. Like, I would just tag them and they would answer me, so that's pretty fun. So if it's still like that, I would reach out if you're in the MLB fandom, of course. Anyways, that's all the stories I had. I really, for the last videos, wanted to pop on some lashes, but I'm not vibing with the lashes I bought, and I just haven't gotten around to buy a new pair, so that's gonna be for another one. But anyways, fan accounts, they're fun. You get to interact with a bunch of people who share the same hobbies as you do, and you get to share your creativity on another level, and that's kind of fun too. Like, and this is my advice, like, I've made crappy fan fiction, terrible comics, and they did great. And like, the fandom will eat it up no matter what. So if you have an idea for something and you think it's stupid, just post it, and you look back at it and be like, it's stupid, why did people like this? Trust me. But anyways, I hope you liked this video, and we'll come back for more. I have some more stories to share, so if you want a part 2, let me know. Okay, bye!